Arsenal are closing in on a first Premier League title in 22 years as they face Burnley at the Emirates. Next year are the managers.
Well, the team is really present. It's just is living the moment. It's emotional, really good state. I think the energy level is the right one. We have most players available now. Okay, we lost Ben the other day, but the other ones are coming back as well. So yeah, and everybody obviously is so enthusiastic and so positive about the way that we can finish the season.
I think you've got to look at it as an opportunity as well to go, one, to be involved in a game like that, two, to be really be excited about that, and it's a platform to then go and perform. We can't influence everything that's going on around it and all the noise about this game's coming up. But what we can do is make sure, like we did against Villa, it proved last week, that we were still taking the competition really serious.
This could be the match that changes everything. Arsenal FC versus Burnley F.C, a game that looks simple on paper, but might decide the entire Premier League title race. And now, Arsenal legend Ian Wright is making a huge prediction: Arsenal can win the title. But what makes this even crazier? Pep Guardiola is watching very closely. The pressure at Arsenal right now is unbelievable. Every game feels like a final. Every point matters. And with Manchester City still chasing behind, one mistake could destroy everything. But under Mikel Arteta, this Arsenal team looks fearless. And fans are starting to believe again. A lot of people will underestimate Burnley. That's dangerous. Because games like this are exactly where title races become dramatic. Burnley have nothing to lose. Arsenal have everything to lose. That pressure changes football matches. But here's the difference this season: Arsenal look mentally stronger. The confidence. The movement. The energy. This feels like a team that truly believes the trophy belongs to them. And then came Ian Wright's reaction. The Arsenal legend believes this squad has something special. Not just talent, mentality. Because winning titles isn't only about tactics. It's about handling pressure when the entire world expects you to fail. And Wright believes Arteta has transformed Arsenal into real champions. That's a huge statement. But don't think Manchester City are giving up quietly. Pep Guardiola knows Arsenal are dangerous. And honestly, that might worry him. Because Arsenal are no longer playing like underdogs. They're playing like a team ready to dominate. And if Arsenal beat Burnley convincingly, the pressure shifts directly onto Manchester City. But here's the scary part: the closer you get to the title, the harder football becomes. Nerves increase. Mistakes become expensive. And suddenly every touch feels heavier. That's why this match matters so much. If Arsenal stay calm and professional, the dream gets closer. Very close. So, can Arsenal beat Burnley and take another massive step toward Premier League glory? Ian Wright believes they can. Pep Guardiola is watching carefully. And Arsenal fans are beginning to dream bigger than ever before. Because after years of waiting, the trophy might finally be coming back to North London. What's your prediction for Arsenal versus Burnley? Will Arsenal win the Premier League this season? Drop your score predictions in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to Football Pulse for more football reactions, previews, breaking news, and viral Premier League content. Because trust me, this title race is becoming absolute cinema.
Got an unbelievable squad, and that is a lot of credit to Arteta putting that squad together, that there's two players of high calibre in every position, that when someone comes in, the other one just takes the team up to another level, and I think that's something that you have to applaud them for doing that.
Little bit of issue at right back now, with Ben White going off injured in that game. It was interesting to see Arteta move Declan Rice there.
I don't think there's an issue. I think they could put anyone there against Burnley and still win the game. I think that's how good they are. They don't, as I said, they don't have to win 4-0. They just have to win the game. The one thing, just touching on what Karen said there, I think the difference between this season and previous seasons has been the manager. His emotion post-match, pre-match, during the match in previous seasons has been evident for everyone to see, whether it's high or low. And I think he's been so calm this year, and I think that has gone through the team as well. Where they've made mistakes, players just carried on. And I mean, Declan Rice is a prime example. Makes a mistake, doesn't fluster, laughs to a little bit, if you like, and then the team go on and win the game afterwards. So I think the temperament of the manager has definitely spilled into the players, and that's why they look so calm at the moment.
Yeah, you mentioned Declan Rice there in the conversation, obviously, for player of the season. Where do you guys think he ranks, and how do you rate the season he's had?
He's been unbelievable. I think the moment for me that sums Declan Rice up was when he was on his knees and they just lost to City, and he said, it's not over yet. It's not over yet. Because he's got a mentality and a spirit and a heart. I don't think I've seen his work rate is unbelievable. And that is just drives through the whole team. When you've got someone like that just puts their body on the line every single time and has that big passion. I haven't even mentioned his technical ability. He's got it all. He really has, and he's worked at it and improved so much. And they wouldn't be where they are without him.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think when he signed from West Ham, and it seems ages ago now, there was a question mark on whether he was going to improve Arsenal. I think this season we are seeing the best of Declan Rice. In answer to the question, is he player of the season? No. It's difficult to compare.
Who's yours?
Yeah, who is your player of the
Top goal scorer,
Haaland.
Erling Haaland, yeah.
This is Declan Rice's numbers for the season before we get on to your player of the season. 35 appearances, 5 goals, 4 assists and 63 chances created. That doesn't really sum up the season that he's had, because you talked about his work rate, his
distance covered's not on there. That's
distance
why.
covered, which is, yeah, it must rank right up there.
I mean, yeah, and the perfect example is the block you saw where he's chased the player 3/4 length of the pitch, so David Raya doesn't have to make a save. These things don't necessarily come out in numbers on a graph, but what they do is let the rest of your team know that he is giving 100%. Yeah. And again, that's the sort of indicative of what you've got on this Arsenal side at the moment.
Let's talk about that defence of Arsenal, because, you know, the number of clean sheets, another 1-0 victory in the West Ham game that we mentioned, and, you know, we've already talked about the goalkeeper, but what about the players in front of him, especially that duo at centre-back?
What a save. That wasn't a defence, that was a goalkeeper. This is wonderful. The last team that I can think of in a position at Arsenal who defended like this was Chelsea. The likes of John Terry would throw themselves on the ball and get the blocks in. I mean, last-ditch tackles, stuff like that. Again, that stops David Raya having to make a save, and everybody's in this to win it. And I just think the defence they've got has been superb.
Yeah, they're quick, they're strong, they're physical, they're aggressive, they put their body on the line, but also they're brilliant in the opposition penalty area to get set pieces and goals. That's a massive part of their game as well, and they're colossal, the 2 centre-backs at that. The spine of the team, the goalkeeper, the 2 centre-backs, Declan Rice, just that spine there. And they're an off-the-ball team. Arteta has always been, we defend first, we'll be hard to beat, and we'll get the goals, or the opposition will make a mistake. And they've just grew in confidence on that, and they're amazing.
Yeah, least amount of shots on target against, half of what Burnley have faced this season. That's because the defence is so solid.
You were so confident, even with the right-back issues, that, you know, they ought to beat Burnley. But if you look at it, and if you look at it in the scheme of things and what's on offer for Arsenal, if you cannot beat Burnley, then you really shouldn't be deserving of a title or in the talk for the title. What could stop them on Monday?
Them thinking they've already beaten Burnley before they go on the field. But I can't imagine for 1 minute that they will be allowed to think that this game is already won. I can say that confidently here on the chair, but no, I think it's just going to be complacency, which they have not demonstrated once this season.
Yeah, and Burnley, we just heard from Mike Jackson there. Burnley, you know, they've showed fight in recent weeks, the 2-2 against Aston Villa. Is it a case of too little, too late for them? Yeah, it is. They're just, in this Arsenal game, they're trying to be the party spoilers. That's all their job. That's what you're saying. You're in a position to maybe define a Premier League title. That's what they're there to do. It's disappointing because I think it's been also harder because of how well Sunderland and Leeds have done, how quickly and how great they've established themselves as a Premier League team. And given how good Burnley was in the Championship last season, particularly with breaking defensive records, and they were so vulnerable in the Premier League, that's been a disappointing part for them, I think, this season. Yeah, so Arsenal, though, if they beat Burnley, they will put incredible pressure on Manchester City, who play about 24 hours later, and inform Bournemouth face Manchester City, and they've got to win.
So close in the last 3 seasons runners-up 22 years, the way it has gone on. But now does it feel, for Arsenal, closer than ever?
Yeah, absolutely it does. I think the last 3 seasons, finishing second, not quite having the squad to maybe finish it off. But I think this season, more than anything else, and even the Manchester City game, I was saying to someone outside that the Man City game and the way we create chances in that, I think that the games that we've got remaining, we should be able to do it. But it's a beautiful, nerve-wracking kind of vibe I'm in at the moment. It feels good and it feels bad. Even watching City last night beating Brentford, I'm expecting Brentford to beat City. It's never going to happen. Stop watching it too. But the fact is, you know what I mean, it feels more than at any stage, Dave, that this might be the one. But we've got to finish this game. You've heard everything's going on about West Ham. West Ham need to stay. They were dreadful against Brentford. They're going to have to put it right in front of their own fans. So we've got that to deal with.
Roy, how much do you feel hinges on this game here?
Yeah, you're thinking the real stumbling block now. You look at the other kind of couple of games they have, you think they should take care of that. This looks, on paper, the toughest game, particularly the West Ham situation, fighting for their lives on the back of their poor result last week. So, yeah, on paper, but of course, they've got to go out and do the business. I think if you're obviously in the Arsenal dressing room, their mindset, if they turn up and bring their A game, I think they will win the game. But if there's any slight lack of concentration or they're slower to the blocks, then West Ham, the situation they're in, will obviously cause them problems. But Arsenal in the driving seat, this is where you want to be with 3 games to go. They would have took that at the start of the season. It's in their hands. They've got the squad. They've got that confidence back. Obviously, they're in the flow. They've had a good week, obviously, with Europe as well. So they're very much in the driving seat.
I think that with the way they played against Brentford and the way Arsenal have kind of found form with players coming back with a little bit more technical ability about them, you know, you've got someone like Miles in the midfield, you've got Declan getting forward. Saka looks like he's back to the kind of form that we know that he's. This is a game that if you said you got West Ham as one of the games that you have to win to finish this off, because you've got Burnley, then Palace, who will probably be who will be happy whatever happens at the end of this season. What's going on with them? Fingers crossed they can win something. You take it, and so being in this position now with all the mistakes that's been made up to this point for Arsenal, we've still got an opportunity to do it. So that's why I feel really confident now. If you gave us this, you take it. That's what you take this. This is a perfect situation for us.
And if they do get over the line, if they were to win the European Cup as well, are we talking about this team as legends then, Roy?
Yeah, but
Thierry said, what's it called?
The Unforgettables.
Unforgettable. It's a great line.
Okay, but let's not get. Listen, let's not get a nickname.
Come on,
let's have a little while.
Let's go throw a nickname in. It would be amazing if they'd done that.
How childish is that? But anyway, if they don't win it, what are they?
Forgettables.
Butlers.
Exactly.
Yeah, No, you got to focus on the game ahead. You can't get too carried away. I think other teams have done that previously. Maybe Arsenal have done it the last couple of years. And but in terms of the squad, the last 2 or 3 years, I still never felt they had that strength in depth, that physicality, that mental strength to get over the line. But there's no doubt in my mind from the start of the season, the recruitment, the changes even in the background, new director of football coming in, etc. They have it. They've all the players, the strength and depth. And the sign of a really good team is what they've got on the bench and players even out of the squad. So they're in that driving position. But obviously don't make the mistake of looking at games in a couple of weeks. They're in the driving seat. Focus on this game. That's key. And if they get over the line here, it's a step closer to winning that title. But don't get too distracted by the games.
They're celebrating already out here, I think. I suppose the nice thing, Ian, or not, about that moniker, the Unforgettables, I suppose the point is if they don't get over the line, as Jamie says, what do we think of them then? Is the only way to be remembered by actually lifting this thing?
Yeah, ideally. I think that if they can lift this, and like you look at the games that they've got left, let's face it, they should do it with the squad that we've got. But in respects of the names and all that, this team could go down if they finish this season. I would like it to finish as probably the best in Arsenal's history with what they've done. I'd say what Mikel's done up to this point, what he's brought this team to become, and they're finally looking like they might get over the line. Yeah, you have to say that. I wouldn't think about what it's like if they don't do it. But the one thing I know that if they don't do it is that they'll be going again next season trying to do the both of them again. That's the main thing. We're in a place where I don't think we've been in the last few years with Arsenal, where it's now in our hands to completely finish it with 3 games to go.
They've got the strength of depth.
Without a doubt.
They've got all the options.
I mean, Mario, I'll start with yourself. I mean, how crucial is this for Arsenal? Because there's a few people, I think, within football that kind of feel like with this Arsenal squad and with Mikel, that perhaps get this over the line and the floodgates of more titles could really start to open for them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, this is also the last thing that everybody's waiting for, right? Because, if you get that close every season, now they want to say, okay, get us over the line, because then you break the momentum and say, okay, we are the real deal. And that is the question that everybody has, including myself. I'm waiting to say, hey, are you going to do it? Because they were on the cruising moment, and then they allowed City to get back into the run. And it's by themselves. They did it first by themselves leading, and they did it by themselves getting them back on track. So in a way, I feel like winning it for them is going to be very important. And you know how the Arsenal fans are. Oh man, if somebody's cocky in London, it's Arsenal.
I'm not sure. I've been hiding behind the sofa pretty much all year, mate.
Oh my God,
I've been hiding behind the sofa.
I hear it all the time. But hey, listen, if you deserve it, you should win it. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. Jules, look, you've written on so many fantastic teams over the years, but I guess if Arsenal, this Arsenal team, were to do something that the club has never done before, which is win the Premier League and the Champions League, where would they stand in terms of, I guess, their history and other Premier League teams of years gone by?
I mean, that makes it the greatest team in the club history, for sure. Better than the Invincibles.
You would put it above the Invincibles?
I mean, to win the double league and Champions League, which obviously Champions League has never been done. There's a final loss by Thierry's team at the time in 06. But yeah, for me, it would be above everything else. Like a league and cup double is great. A league and a Champions League double is something else. It's so rare. City and Guardiola have done it once in the 10 years that he's been at the club, for example. We could look again at the great teams that have won the Premier League and how many have won the Champions League on the same year. It's so difficult to do. And for this team that is not complete, by the way, there's still a bit of weakest points there in this. It's a good squad, but there's still some positions I think that you can upgrade as well as a football club.
Yeah.
But the work that they've done the last 6 years, Mikel, but not just Mikel on his own, but the way this club has been transformed from bottom to the top, with all the right people in charge, has been really impressive. They just need that title now. It's the only thing missing for me.
Mario, you were just watching that goal against West Ham from Leandro Trossard. How much of a confidence boost is it going into these final two games? I know there's the anxiety around it, but that belief must be there for the players, thinking, they took it right to the edge with West Ham, but they still did it. They still found that goal.
That is the confidence that you build in a team, right? When you go after a title, those are the moments. Because in the moments when people have their doubts, but you as a team keep on believing, that is what pushes you over the line. And I think the moment when they scored that goal, it was like, okay, it also, your captain comes in the game. He arrives in the game and people saying like, oh, he's playing safe. He clearly wasn't safe in that moment because he turned back, had the dribble, plays the 1-2 and then cuts it back. So at that moment, he also opened the books for others to say like, listen, maybe you saw me as safe, but now I'm showing you that I'm the risk taker because I came on this field now to make us win the game. And he clearly won the game for them. Yeah. The captain comes on and he did that. So in a way, like winning titles, is that what you just said? The belief has to be there, and sometimes it doesn't have to look beautiful, my friend. You just have to win.
Well, that's it. And I guess, Jules, it's back to your point on, the work that Mikel Arteta has done. And I think, do you think maybe he doesn't get the plaudits he deserves sometimes? There's always a lot of talk about, how he's acting on the sideline and etc. But when you look at, they're in a Champions League final and on the cusp of a Premier League title. Maybe some people, you look at the team on paper and they go, I remember at the beginning of the season, people were projecting them 4th place, Liverpool being 1st. Yeah. How much is that down to him?
Yeah, him massively. I think the way he's reset the culture within the football club, the DNA of that football club, the mentality that he changed since he arrived. Really, this is something that he identified very quickly when he arrived at the club more than 6 years ago now. He hasn't been on his own, really. I think there's been, again, a lot of the key people at that club putting in the right direction, which was always the right thing to do. Maybe the credit will come with the titles as well, which is I think a fair comment to say that you could do a great job until you've actually won proper, not just the FA Cup during COVID, but proper. Then after that, the credit that you deserve, because I think it deserves a lot of credit, will come, and so do the club. But the character that they showed this season, the last-minute equaliser against City at home, the last-minute win away at Newcastle, that win against West Ham where the pressure is so high, it's there. And even when you went through a tough April, when you were not playing well, not winning, to still be 2 points clear now with 2 games to go, I think even the players deserve a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, well, I'm sure this is an image that's been shown so much, but let's just take, once again, a look at that fixture run between the two sides. Because, Mario, there's a question that I wanted to ask you, right? So, Arsenal, let's say, for argument's sake, they get through the test of Burnley at home on Monday. How many of the Arsenal players might be saying to themselves, shall we meet up to watch Tuesday, Bournemouth versus City? Do you think they'd say that? Because there's a chance that, something happens there, they win the league on Tuesday.
Yeah, but what the thing is, I don't know, like, if I go back to my own experience, you understand, I didn't win it in England, but I went back home. But going back home, it was like, you always keep your eyes on what the opponent does. You understand? You don't want to do it, but you're doing it. Because it's something that happens to you is without you want to do it, but clearly after the game you're like, hey, you know something? You know something? It just happens. Yeah. And trust me, if you're my teammate, you're getting a text if they lost. I'm like, dude, have you seen?
Do you think some of the players might meet up and...
Definitely. Yeah.
Do you think that'll be the vibe? Well, you never know.
If you look, okay,
if there's a chance that you're champions, you have to. And it's okay.
Buddy.
Yeah. If it's not happening, it's
what
not.
Team, if I hang out with you all the time, you think I need to wait till I see you? No, we are seeing each other. And even if you don't want to see me, you're making time for me. And you're not going anywhere. I'm there like, dude, we're watching the game. Come on. Yeah. You're going to be, okay, Mary, okay, let's watch. And then you are.
Yeah. If there's a chance that you're the champions that night, you have to be together.
Yeah. Okay. And Jules, are you at the game or for Arsenal versus Burnley? Will you be there on Monday?
I've got my French radio show at the same time, so I will be like watching on the screen, but I can't be at the stadium.
But I know. Obviously, you've covered a lot of Arsenal matches, and you know the vibe at the Emirates. I mean, how important is it still going to be? Because I think a lot of people have almost. I think Mike Jackson, the Burnley manager, came forward and he kind of spoke about it, saying, "Look, we're not here just to be rolled over. We're going to give this a good go." The atmosphere on Monday at the Emirates. How important is a goal? Maybe within that first 45 minutes.
Yeah, but even if it doesn't come in the first half, everybody still has to believe. I expect the atmosphere that we saw in the second leg against Atletico Madrid. Yeah. This is the kind of atmosphere that has to be. This is like a cup game. It really is. It's like a Champions League semi-final, second leg, quarter-final, second leg. This is how Arsenal fans have to see it. They have to go to the Emirates thinking like, this is a knockout game, really, because this is what it is. And I think the atmosphere will be great. And if the atmosphere is great, the players will be up for it. And, I think Arsenal will win this game and be in a very strong position then to be champions.
Okay, well, the team chasing them is, of course, Man City. And manager Pep Guardiola was asked the question today on whether or not a potential cup double, the League Cup and the FA Cup, would that be seen as a successful season?
It's what I said before. It depends on the value that the season is good or bad. It depends on the trophies you lift. Sometimes you don't lift trophies and the season has been successful. Sometimes you lift and the season was really, really bad. So I said weeks ago, the season has been really good. Really, really good.
I think this is the 24th time you've been as City manager to a final or semi. Does Wembley still have that kind of magic for you when you go down there for a final?
I'm so disappointed English football don't make a stand to Pep. You know that. So many times I've been there, at least a lounge or a box or something like that. So maybe I'll go 24 more times. I've been a special place, definitely. Since Barcelona in '92, when we won the first Champions League with my club, and after with United, the second time Barcelona as a manager, and many times since I'm here. Giving there semi-finals, finals, win, lose, win. So, it's really good go to Wembley again.
I mean, Pep just absolutely loves the FA Cup. He really, really does. But Mario, very quickly, on their game against Bournemouth on Tuesday, emotionally, as a player going into that game, obviously there's so many fans that are already saying, they're going to drop points there, they're going to drop points. Does that fire the players up more, or does that put maybe a doubt into their heads, do you think?
No, it just, what it brings into players is, the season is not finished. That's what it brings into your mindset. But you know that you're going to a hard game because it's a team that can, by surprise, if they turn up, Bournemouth, they can give you a hard game. But if it's not the case, you can, overrun them. And I think what he said was really interesting. It's just the period where he is right now. It's just, he is so experienced. Like when he talks, if you listen to every word he uses, it's almost like he doesn't think about it because he technically knows what he's saying. But it's just beautiful to hear how he makes a joke. Then he tells you the truth, and then he says how he wants you to think.
Yeah.
It's a masterclass. It's a masterclass, my friend. It's like he's playing chess with all of us. Yeah. If you're not playing, I'm telling you guys, if you don't have that, then you're watching something wrong.
Yeah, very good. Well, look, Arsenal's win at West Ham last weekend was full of tension and emotion.